What's up? This is HDNEWS Tech here. I'm gonna make this video to a certain amount of time. I did order another one of those uniforms, basically another outer coat. My first outer coat from the company. I got I think the first item within like a week or two, and the second one should be coming in. I don't know when, but it's a coat, outer coat. It's got the certain things on it, so it's like only like $34 or so. It's only a dollar or two more, which is not bad. And considering I actually got a good test result back. I know it's health related, but my A1C for my diabetes has went down drastically to a 5.4, which means I'm not longer at my 9.3 of severity for diabetes. I'm still having to follow the code of carb intake per day and when I'm off as well, and writing down and checking myself, but not as often. And I at least allowed once a month now, I think, to snack on something like higher carb. Only once a month, since my sugar is controlled more. And actually, I'm actually more under my normal level. I think 2019 was the last one I think I had done before this whole COVID outbreak started. And I was technically at 5.7, which is pre-diabetic, which means right before diabetes hits your system, your sugar levels are kind of high, but not enough to pass you onto the diabetic state, which I went into, I think, earlier this year, I think April, when I snacked on a bunch of food and cake when my teeth was bad, and of course it was my 30th birthday, so my sugar A1C level went like to a 12.8. And basically, when you're the diabetic, before it happens, your sugar starts going very high, and your cells become resistant to insulin. So your sugar levels keep climbing, and your pancreas basically gets burnt out, and that's when diabetes sets in, and your A1C goes just through the roof. And it's been a long 3 months. I mean, I broke record in 3 months only. And I know I got to go to high op because that morning, because my mom was crying for like hours after that, because, and placing it online, of course, how much I sacrificed. And I noticed over the period of weeks that every time I tested my sugar in the morning, it's been dropping like under 100, and it got to a point where it's under 70 now, around 70 or so. Even with the carbs I eat at work, it sounded like it was going towards the right direction, and I am going towards. And if I keep going like that and it doesn't change, as long as it doesn't go up, if it goes down more or it doesn't change anyway, either of those two, I will be off the metformin. I don't know how long, because now, since if it doesn't change or it goes down, they'll definitely take me off of it. And we know that that drug is effective against diabetes. For me, it works fine. There's not a lot of side effects, and it's bearable, basically, and we know it works. So I will have to still prick myself, but not as often, which is huge good news. But still, I can't go out and just snack on something from Hardee's or like anything over 60 carbs unless it's once a month. And that depends, like I want to get like a hamburger or something I haven't had for like probably Mayish, because my A1C was just unacceptable. And once you get over like a 6.5, you're considered a permanent diabetic. Even if your A1C just all of a sudden just plummets down, you're technically considered a diabetic. It can still come back, and it does go into remission for some people who don't stay on a low carb diet, and they start going back to their regular unhealthy diet, and the diabetes just starts to go back up. And since I already went to that point and got diagnosed as one, I'm basically screwed for the rest of my life. And that means like no spray unless I'm under like 70, or any kind of soda with sugar. Basically, I'm having to stay away. I mean, it's better than it was, considering the pain in the hip and all that went away. And that's part of the sugar disease, is that when my insulin temporarily almost stopped, or was not effective, basically, I don't know how you say it, but your body basically tries to get that insulin to get the sugar into like the cells, but it becomes resistant. Your body tries to combat the higher rise in sugar, like where it gets very high, and in the progress it does damage to the pancreas, and that leads to a diabetic cycle like I went into in June, which was not funny. And the dry mouth was the worst side effect by far. Any others like a bathroom. I mean, a cake would just do that to me when I was purely up in the 9s or 10s for sugar. So for diabetic, basically type 2, and that I will probably stay away from the rest of my life. Probably at least once a month, maybe a treat. But after that, there's fasting. After that, like there's no other extra carbs for like another like 30 days or more until the next month hits. Until I get to the next month. And if it stays like that, hopefully it kind of degrades over time. But as I know, I'm permanently one. I had to change my life and still write down things and all that. But it's better than it was, at least in the standard where it's not technically damaging, but still it can be there and it can easily come back and bite me anywhere in if I'm not comfortable with my diet and what I consumed in the past. And my diet was just horrible, like 4 corn dogs and then fries, and they had to go. There's no point, and I was like 260 in the office, and I'm now like 192, so I'm going down in weight. Technically, I'm allowed to have more calories, but the carbs are still locked at 60 and 16 grams or 18 when I'm working, basically on breaks. Where like, hey, I can't go over a certain amount. It's because I already had it, and it's easier now to get it back again if I get out of a rhythm with what I eat. Basically, if I go back to having a bad diet, it can come back a lot easier than a non-diabetic. So if you like this kind of content, make sure you subscribe and comment below. Thanks for watching. See ya.